Hi there, this video is to show you how to make the graph for the Shipman lab. Now the graph I'm going to show you is this graph that's in your direction sheet. So that's the data I've got right here. But you want to do the same sort of thing. You want to take your data table, which has the concentration. It also has two other columns over here in your Shipman lab. So yours will be this one right here. You don't need the first two columns, the cuvette number and the concentration of the dye percentage doesn't matter. You need all of this data though. So if you can copy and paste that into yours so it looks something like mine. And then you can see I've got the red, orange, green, and blue. And those are their transmittance. Now what we're looking to do is have the transmittance on the y and the concentration on the x. And here's why. Concentration, or the x part down here, is our independent variable. It's the things we changed. We created those different solutions by doing a serial dilution. And after we created those different solutions and we put them into the machine, the colorimeter, it came out with transmittance. And the different concentration created those different transmittance. So, our concentration are things we changed, which is the independent variable, and what came out of it, the y-axis, would be my dependent variable. Okay, here's the first thing to do. I'm finding that the best thing to do is to highlight all the numbers and all the words first. That's tending to work out better. Sometimes things get funny, and usually it's because of that. I'll go to chart, and there it's going to pop up some photograph. Usually not that great. We can do scatterplot as the directions talk about. I've found that line does work out good too. Now if you have your chart just like I do, where it has concentration and then red, green, orange, what we need to do is switch the labels, because right now the x-axis, it thinks the x-axis for a line graph is the stuff that's in this first row here, but it's not. You can see the x-axis has concentration red, orange, green, which is that first row across. We really want the x-axis to be the first column, so I'm going to say switch rows as columns. There, that's looking better. And then I want to choose, since the first word of column A is concentration, that I don't want to have as a data point. I'm going to say that first row is my header row. There. It didn't really change my graph, but what it did do is give me some labels here that are a lot better. And I can see that my x-axis has concentration, which I want, and my y-axis are all the transmittance data. Okay, we're looking good now. Your graph won't look exactly like this, but what you should see is 4 different colored lines. You should also see that your concentration values are on the x-axis, in other words, those numbers with lots of zeros, the parts per million, are on the x, and your y-axis should have just from 0 to 100, the transmittance. That's how you know you're doing a good job, because once again, your graph lines are not going to look like my lines. At this point, we've got to customize things, so let's put in a title. Chart title would be good. When we do graphs, we want to first have like the purpose of it. I'm going to call it Shipman Lab. And then colon, we want to have something afterwards, like saying what's on y and what's on x. Now my y is my transmittance. I'm saying transmittance versus concentration. Okay, now I want to go into my horizontal axis. That's the stuff on the x, concentration. Go. Got our vertical axis here. We want to go transmittance. There, now it's looking pretty good. We've got a few more things to change, but we're headed in the right direction. Let's get ourselves to our horizontal axis, because we've got to make this a logarithmic scale. Just skip a little bit below there, you see the log scale. Boom. That's going to make your graph look a little bit better, something we can more easily read, which is nice. I also want to go into my legend. In my legend, I do want a legend. It says I don't want none. I could put it anywhere I want. I'm going to put it on the right. There we go. Now you can see things are a little bit funny because I've got red as my blue line and orange as my red line, and that's just not going to work so hot. So let's see if we can fix this here. Whoop. To fix that color problem, we want to go into series, and under series you want to apply to just the red one. See how the red is actually blue? We want the red to be red. And then I can go into my orange. I don't want my orange to be red, I want my orange to be orange. Makes life a lot easier. Green should be green. Pick this green. Oh, that's a funny green, huh? We'll go with this green, I guess. And your blue should be blue. So that's looking good. Close out of your series part. At this point you want to go to your grid lines. This we could read, but if we have more lines in there, we can see it better. So on our horizontal axis, we want to change our minor lines to be 10. You can see there's a lot more lines there. And the lines are differently spaced because it is the logarithmic scale. If we go to the vertical axis, we can put in minor lines of 4. That'll help things out a little bit better. So now I've got my graph, I've got all my parts. I should be set to go. I hope this helped.